Good morning. I'd like to go over the outline border stitch. This is one that kind of, between the outline center line and outline border, is kind of confusing. Like, why is there two and what do they do? And sometimes you accidentally hit border outline border, and it's really frustrating because it changes your whole entire project. So I'm just going to show you guys how I make a simple key fob, and I start with paint. Oops, let's close all that. No, I don't want to save. Okay, I'll show you where to find paint. In my computer, I think is Windows 7, and I go into all programs, and then in all programs, you're going to go down, and over here there's going to be in almost every single Windows, there's this folder called accessories. And in accessories is all this free stuff that is really, really helpful for a bunch of stuff, but we don't ever really use, but because we have so many advanced apps and things like that. Paint is something we've had, you know, forever, like since elementary school. You can paint little things and stuff like that, but it's a really good photo editing tool as well. And it's really easy to create things that go into SewArt really easily from paint. So today let's just do a cute little key fob. Let's do the back of it first. Nope, let's do the back of it second. Alright, so let's go on the internet and find something that we want to have on a keychain. I'm really into puffy clouds lately. I don't know. So I'm going to look up puffy cloud vector free silhouette. This should get me all black images or all white images, but nothing with, you know, a bunch of stuff in the middle. See, they shouldn't be giving me these. Okay, but anyways, so something like that, but more that shape. So I'm going to take this one actually, because I can, no, I want it to be black. That makes it a whole lot easier, sorry. Oh, that looks like a good one. That's got a lot of good ones. So even if you find something like this that has a bunch of different things on it, if you put it into SewArt, it's really hard to pick out what it is that you want and turn it into a key fob, which is why I'm using paint. So we'll go in here to copy image and go back into paint and hit paste, and it's going to give me everything. So I'm going to zoom out so I can look at it better. I don't want to change the size of anything just yet. Which one looks like it would be the best for a key fob? I think this guy right here is the cutest. I'm going to take him. Okay, I've already got my select, so make sure your select is on. And down here, make sure it says rectangular selection. Freeform selection is really, really cool, but we don't really need that. Actually, let's go ahead and do freeform. So freeform lets you get around stuff and make close things, but you have to make sure it gets all the way around and touches the other line. And then when you copy it, we're not going to copy it, we're going to turn this, if you weren't turning it into a key fob and you wanted to just have the cloud, like for applique or FLT or something like that, then right now you would just copy and paste it into SewArt. But since we're going to do key fob, we're going to hit crop, and it's going to get rid of everything else. We just have our little guy. Okay, so now we have him all to ourselves. Let's rectangular select. Let's bring him down here. Make him bigger so we can work with him. And then let's put the tab in there. And it's going to be black, and we want it to be filled, although it's just going to give us a line for now. Oops, that's going to be too small. It doesn't matter because I could have made it in there, but, and if you need grids on, you can go up here to view and hit grid line, and it'll make it perfect for you. So I'm not really begging for perfection today, but that is a very good tool. All right, so we have this is our tab that will fold over and snap together and go on a key ring or on your backpack or wherever it is that you want it. So once you've made that, go up here to the bucket and it fills it with whatever color you choose, and we're going to fill it with black. And that kind of does some weird stuff, but we're going to fix that in SewArt. Okay, so with this, we're going to hit select, start down at the bottom and go up. So see how I'm very, very close? I don't want to be that close. I want it to have a little bit of wiggle room, but you do want it pretty close. You don't want the computer to have to pick up everything. So you want it to be really tight. Okay, and then we don't do any resizing or anything like that in Paint unless it's a really huge thing, and it's not. So we might want to make it bigger once we get into SewArt. But anyways, let's hit select all. It's going to take the whole picture. Right click copy, or you could hit copy up here. You don't want to cut it because you might want to come back to it if you make a big mistake in SewArt. So we have a brand new canvas in SewArt. Going to go ahead and hit edit and paste. Oh, and it did make it huge. Okay, so let's go ahead. Oh, I've learned something about the colors and stuff like that. Whenever you come into SewArt, I've been coming in and resizing first, which gives me a lot of work later. And it's very simple if you have just a 2-color one like I like to use, to do this first and then resize it, because resizing it changes the pixels. And then if you have it, I don't know how to explain it very well, but sometimes it'll change how it looks and you'll be missing pixels because you resized it first while it was with so many colors. So whenever you hit the color reduction, it doesn't have so many colors to have to compete with, and it can just stay the same whenever it's reducing its size. It doesn't have to reduce the colors to reduce the size. I hope that makes sense. Okay, so right now you're looking at this and I'm looking at this and it looks cool, except we have this stupid thing there, right? No biggie whoopie. Let's go down to here and we'll choose our paintbrush. We could do the pencil too, but it doesn't really matter what tool you use, because you're just going to be blocking in those. And there we go. Very simple. Okay, and then we go up here. I always like to double check my color reduction, double check my resize or my image size. Okay, everything looks good. I don't need to crop anything. Everything's very close cut. And I'm going to go over here to stitch image. In the stitch image, your first thing is fill, so we can fill it and then put the border on, but that's a lot of fill. We're just going to do this on a cute little piece of felt and some vinyl that I found at the embroidery store. I always call it the embroidery store, but it's the furniture upholstery store. They have all the cool stuff. Okay, so outline border. Let's go ahead and zoom out a little bit so we can see the whole thing. Oh, you know what? I'm going to change the color so you can see the stitches too. Oops, that's not what I meant. Fill. Let's fill it with a light blue, even though clouds are white. Sometimes they're gray, but these clouds are half clouds, so I'm going to make them on white vinyl. Okay, so I changed the color so we can look at the stitch a little easier. Oops, I don't want to zoom out too much. Okay, so outline border, outline center line. I'll show you first what happens if you click outline center line, which is what follows one single line. So like if we had a cartoon over here, a cartoon of a flower, and it had a thin line, it would draw out a flower. But because this is a completely blocked image, if you hit center line, it does that. It tries to follow the line as best as it can, and it makes, an upside down T. It's really funny. So it's really funny to me when it happens anyways. Okay, so outline border, and the same would happen in applique center line. The only difference between outline and applique is applique will give you the 3 different steps. You'll get your die line, and then you'll place your fabric, and then it'll do the tack down, and then it will do a satin stitch. And then once it does a tack down, you cut, you cut around your applique, and then it does the satin stitch to finish everything off. So you get 3 steps with the applique, but the concept for border and center line are exactly the same in applique as they are in outline. So we're just going to use outline border, and I don't want to do a satin stitch. I have fallen in love with the beans. Bean stitch all the way for me. So on a key fob, if we were using thicker stuff, I think I would use a higher, like whenever I do it on felt or on thicker vinyl, I like to use a higher length. But if it's just on vinyl, we don't need such a high length. It doesn't have so much pile to jump over, if that makes sense. So 25 I found is a really cute stitch, and 40 is a really pretty stitch, and 60 probably gets better and better and better. So, oh, and another tip that I did receive was wherever you start your needle is where the thing starts whenever you're doing the fill. I'm sorry, I shouldn't have brought it into this one, but it was just such a cool concept. Whenever you are doing a fill, and I tried it out last night, and when you have something that has a fill on it, wherever you click is where your needle starts. So whenever you have something with 2 colors and you start, like say you just click it to fill it over here, it's going to start down here. And then say you have another thing over here, like a big circle, and you click over here to fill it without even thinking about it, it's going to jump all the way over there whenever it could just jump right there. So that's just a little tip that I received, I'm pretty sure, from Barbara as well. But it's it was really duh to me whenever I found out. So that's actually everything to this part. So file, save as, and I've started a desktop. What did I do with it? Did I not start one? Oh, superheroes. Oh, I didn't start one for key fobs. Well, I'm going to rename that whole file. So cloud key fob. And I like to put my setting, oh, this is just the picture, sorry. I like to save BMP. Save. All right, and then in here you make sure your pattern size will fit your hoop. Mine has to be under 95 because I still have a 4x4 hoop. Make sure your name is what you want. And in the file name, I like to put what my main stitches that I use, what my main settings were. So cloud key fob bean 2 and 25. So if I really like how it turned out, I can see what the settings are later. Or, if I want to do this on some felt, I would want to bump up the thing, so I wouldn't want to use this one. I would want to make a new one. Alright, that's really loud. Okay, and you can't really tell because we use blue, but there's a little stitch out up there in the top. It won't let me zoom in on it. And then I'll take pictures to show you how it turned out. Thank you guys so much. Have a great day. And again, I'm super, super grateful for all of your encouragement. Thank you so much.